The Great Pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the biggest in Egypt and also serves as the tomb of the pharaoh Khufu, who ruled during the 4th dynasty. Constructed in the early 26th century BC over roughly 27 years, the pyramid is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and the only one to survive mostly intact. At the UNESCO World Heritage Site that comprises the Pyramid Fields of Memphis and its necropolis in Giza, Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza is the most well-known of the 3 pyramids that make up the complex. It is located at the end of the line formed by the 3 pyramids in Giza that is furthest to the north. When it was first constructed, the Great Pyramid stood at a height of 146.6 meters, 481 feet, making it the tallest man-made building in the world for more than 800 years. The majority of the pyramid's smooth white limestone casing was removed over time, which resulted in the pyramid's height being reduced to its current value of 138.5 meters, 454.4 feet. What can be observed right now is the fundamental central structure. The base was measured to be around 230.3 meters, 755.6 feet square, yielding a volume of roughly 2.6 million cubic meters, 92 million cubic feet, which includes an internal hillock. The pyramids of Giza were constructed to last forever, and they succeeded in doing so. The massive tombs are remains of Egypt's Old Kingdom era and were created some 500 years ago. Originally attributed to Khufu. According to the writings of authors from classical antiquity, most notably Herodotus and Diodorus Siculus, the credit for building the Great Pyramid was traditionally given to Khufu. This is based on historical evidence. Yet, during the medieval ages a few people were credited with the construction of the pyramid as well, for example, Joseph, Genesis, Nimrod, or King Sored ibn Salhauk. By burrowing to reach them, archaeologists discovered 4 additional relieving chambers above the king's chamber in the year 1837. The chambers, which had been inaccessible up until that point, were coated in red paint hieroglyphs. The workers who were building the pyramid had marked the blocks with the names of their gangs, which contained the pharaoh's name, e.g., the gang. The white crown of Khnum Khufu is powerful. About a dozen times, the name Khufu was spelled out in full on the walls of the chamber. Goyen discovered another piece of this graffiti on an external block that was part of the 4th layer of the pyramid. The writings are similar to those discovered at other locations associated with Khufu, such as the alabaster quarry at Hatnub or the harbor at Wadi al-Jarf. Moreover, similar inscriptions can be found on pyramids associated with other pharaohs. The cemeteries were utilized more infrequently after the 6th dynasty and were actively enlarged until the end of that era. The name of Khufu appears on the earliest seal impressions, while the name of Pepi II appears on the most recent ones. Worker graffiti was scrawled on some of the stones of the tombs as well. For instance, MDDW, Horus name of Khufu, on the mast above Chufunakt, perhaps a grandson of Khufu. In the afterlife, Egyptian pharaohs believed they would be elevated to the status of gods. To get ready for the next world, they built temples for the gods and enormous pyramid tombs for themselves. These temples and tombs were packed with everything a monarch would need to govern and maintain himself in the following world. By the year 2550 BC, Pharaoh Khufu initiated the construction of the first pyramid at Giza. His Great Pyramid is the largest in Giza and soars some 481 feet, 147 meters, above the plateau. It is estimated that there are 2.3 million stone blocks, each of which weighs between 2.5 and 15 tons on average. Khufu's son, Pharaoh Khafre, built the second pyramid at Giza, in about 2520 BC. His necropolis also had the strange limestone monument known as the Sphinx, which has the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh. The Sphinx may stand sentry for the pharaoh's whole tomb complex. The third pyramid at Giza is the smallest of the 3, especially when compared to the first 2. It was constructed in 2490 BC by Pharaoh Menkaure, and it featured a mortuary temple that was much more sophisticated. Each enormous pyramid is just one component of a bigger complex that also has a palace, temples, solar boat pits, and a variety of other buildings and structures. Construction spike. The ancient engineering marvels at Giza were so astounding that even now scientists can't be sure how the pyramids were created. They have, however, gained a significant amount of knowledge regarding the people who constructed them and the political power that was required to make it happen. The construction was carried out by Egyptian laborers who were skilled and lived in comfortable conditions in a makeshift city in the area. Archaeological excavations at the interesting site have uncovered evidence of a highly organized civilization that possessed a wealth of resources and must have been supported by a powerful centralized authority. It is possible that villages all across Egypt supplied workers, as well as food and other necessities, for what became in some respects a national effort to display the wealth and control of the old pharaohs. The purpose of the project was to honor the past pharaohs. Such discoveries have led Zahi Hawass, the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and a National Geographic explorer, in residence, to note that in a sense, it was the pyramids that built Egypt rather than the other way around. He made this observation because such revelations led him to believe that the Great Pyramid of Giza was constructed around 600 BCE, keeping the memories alive. In the same way that the pyramids contributed to the development of ancient Egypt, they also served to preserve it. Giza enables us to investigate a time and place that has long since passed away. According to Egyptologist Peter de Manuelian of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston and Tufts University, many people conceive of the site as just a cemetery in the modern sense, but it's a lot more than that. It is not only about how Egyptians died but also about how they lived, since these adorned tombs feature amazing scenes depicting every facet of life in ancient Egypt. Images of ancient people working their crops and tending to their cattle, fishing and fowling, carpentry, clothes, religious rites, and funeral traditions are often found depicted in tomb art. Research into Egyptian grammar and language can also be done through the use of texts and inscriptions. According to de Manuelian, the walls of the tombs of Giza provide information on virtually any aspect of pharaonic civilization you may be interested in studying. De Manuelian is the director of the Giza Archives Project, which is an enormous collection of photographs, plans, drawings, manuscripts, object records, and expedition diaries from the Giza Plateau that enables virtual visits to the plateau. Manuelian's goal is to help make these invaluable resources accessible to everyone. Older recordings protect paintings or inscriptions that have since become unreadable, photograph treasures that have been misplaced or destroyed, and allow access to graves that were previously off limits to the general public. De Manuelian, armed with the findings of the Harvard Museum of Fine Arts Boston Expedition, 1902-1947, which conducted the excavations at Giza for the longest period ever, hopes to expand the archive to include content from other countries and develop it into the primary online repository for Giza-related materials in the world. Nonetheless, he emphasizes that nothing could ever recreate or replace the experience of a personal journey to Giza, and that this is something that will never change. The direction that the pyramids are headed. With the beginning of the Arab Spring in 2011, when Egypt went through a political upheaval that lasted for years, there has been a significant drop in the number of tourists visiting the structures. Since then, there have been multiple administration shifts in the country, and as a result, the future of tourism to the pyramids is a question mark due to the political instability. How was the video? Do you enjoy it? Tell us in our comments section below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates.